my day job is as the John and Francis Larkin Professor of Chemistry at the University of Buffalo. For nearly 20 years, I've worked with communities in Western New York on air and soil pollution that affects public health. I've worked closely with state and federal agencies such as EPA, New York State DEC, DOH, the Army Corps of Engineers, and other agencies in interpreting scientific data and helping communities design and collect their own scientific data. I served as a scientific advisor to the Clean Air Coalition of Western New York, and in particular community members who founded the CAC since 2003. I also serve as the chair of the City of Buffalo Environmental Management Commission and other community advisory groups around Western New York. My work has been recognized nationally and regionally by EPA and various professional societies and National Science Foundation. While many of you are familiar with roles I've played in various community efforts within the City of Buffalo, I want to give you some background to my expertise in commenting on this review paper. In 1977, I began my research on the nature of diesel particulates, their surface chemistry and chemical composition as part of my PhD dissertation. I published work in this field in peer-reviewed scientific journals as part of my research in the chemistry of air particulates, for example, smoke, and have researched and taught in this field for over 30 years. I'm well-versed in the methodology of characterizing fine and ultrafine particles in terms of their size and chemistry, and closely follow public policy in designating the health impacts of these particulates, especially as it relates to the delivery of toxic and carcinogenic chemicals to the human body. Thus, I can effectively evaluate the statements made in the subject review based on my own research experience. I'm concerned that the release and promotion of this review is simply part of a public relations campaign to cover up the fact that real data exists about particulate emissions and their impact on the health of the residents on the west side. I'm happy that DEC and the community have begun independent studies to collect emissions data at the Peace Bridge, and in the case of DEC, and in the neighborhood in the case of the collaboration with my laboratory and the Clean Air Coalition of Western New York and residents. There are 3 points I'd like to make, and I'd be happy to answer any questions. The review mentions nothing of environmental justice considerations for the neighborhood nearby. The combination of all 3 criteria for EJ consideration, a predominantly minority and high poverty neighborhood that suffers from disproportionate exposures and burden of air pollution and resulting health impacts, must be addressed in considering the environmental impact by virtue of EPA regulations. Arguments about other sources of pollution in the neighborhood being more important to health impacts are simply disingenuous. This is a bald-faced attempt to deflect a real issue, that the Peace Bridge contributes to the pollution and the health impact in an environmental justice community. Not one word about environmental justice in the document. Not one word. The review makes claims based on new EPA regulations in 2007 regarding new diesel engine fuels and equipment, which will reduce pollution in new truck models. It bases the analysis on survey data on the age of the trucks using E-ZPass and other surveys of non-E-ZPass trucks. The result is a purely speculative guess about the nature of the projected improvement in air pollution, and is being promoted as based on evidence. The trucks have not been inspected for compliance. There's no real data about their emissions. Further, even if, as claimed, 51.7% of trucks are newer equipment, what does that say about the other 48.3% that are older and likely out of compliance on emissions? Increases in truck traffic will increase the potential emissions. And by the way, the EPA projected it would take until 2030 to implement full compliance of trucks with the new 2007 regulations. I'm astounded by the nature of the public relations campaign the Peace Bridge is running to try and deflect attention from the real pollution issues. In 2007, EPA Region 2 issued a set of comments on the Peace Bridge draft environmental impact study by letter from John Filippelli, Chief of Strategic Planning and Multimedia Programs Branch, to Robert Arnold of the Federal Highway Administration. Curiously, the Public Bridge Authority did not release this information to the public. I would like to quote on part of the letter on air quality. EPA is concerned about potential diesel particulate matter impacts to sensitive subgroups, such as children during construction. It goes on to say, EPA encourages the avoidance and minimization of increases in exposure that might already be high for children and other sensitive populations. Measures such as lower sulfur fuel exhaust, retrofit technology, alternative fuels, and/or operational limitations were listed as examples of what might be implemented for this project, EPA strongly recommends these measures to reduce particulate matter emissions regardless of the quantified levels of emissions. Also offers the following additional recommendations. Maintain and tune engines, perform inspections, require, not recommend, require new diesel equipment, reduce heavy equipment trips, reduce heavy equipment idling, avoid or minimize the siting of laydown areas near residences, and sensitive receptors. Sensitive receptors include children, aged, and sick residents. The review contains no data on the analysis of current truck traffic with respect to those 4 points requested in 2007 by EPA comments. The only thing that matters is collecting data on truck traffic, inspections, and real data about air pollution and exposures to decide whether the new plans for the Peace Bridge will be safe. While the review claims that no EPA standard methodology in regulatory form exists for the analysis of ultrafine particulates like diesel emissions, the technology and methodology exists for over 30 years. In fact, the paper reviewed in this document by Dr. Mukasa, as you read through the actual review document, utilized methods to collect and analyze ultrafine particulates. One thing I know as a scientist, so the situation makes it even more amazing to claim that Peace Bridge meets current EPA emission standards. That's the thing that's highlighted in the very first bullet as a summary of this. One thing I know as a scientist, if you don't measure it, you won't find it. So to make the bold claim that EPA emission standards are important, when we know later in the review notes that EPA doesn't measure the chemistry of ultrafine particulates, is another unscientific and unacceptable diversionary tactic by the Public Bridge Authority leadership, meant to confuse the public. The release of this review does not answer the need for real data, does not pose any issues that might affect the health impacts in the neighborhood. The Peace Bridge leadership can claim all they want, but there is a distinct lack of science behind their statement. Thanks.